Glenda, when you do it, you just give the date for both of them and notate that the 22nd was the special called meeting.
Okay, I had been contacted about the elementary and the Rudd School principals. They do want to come. I don't know if they'll be here tonight or not, but they did want to come and introduce themselves. The Rudd's middle school principal, I'm trying to think of what her name is. She was an assistant principal at the high school and has been up there for a few years. So it's not like we're meeting a new person, but she was moved down there. The gentleman that was doing the middle school got a...
Miss Woodruff?
Woodruff, that's it, okay.
Yes.
She got a promotion, or he got a promotion / move to a different school. So, Fultondale, yeah. I'm not sure why that would be considered a promotion. What was...
New school.
I don't know if it's larger, or what made it appealing or whatever on that.
You better just go.
Better skip that.
Yeah. It's to the high school that he went to. Oh, okay, so that makes sense as to why. So he did get a promotion up to a high school position, so. All right. The folks from the Jefferson County Greenways, I told them to be here a little before 7. Are going to be here. They wanted to introduce themselves. Carly, y'all gotten to meet before, but she wanted to introduce. They have hired a new superintendent. He is over all the parks, the Red Mountain Park, the Ruffner Mountain, and the Turkey Creek. First class guy. His name's Fran. They just wanted to introduce themselves, talk a little bit about that. They are going to ask about, well, they may ask about. In the past, we have given, and I'm not sure, maybe y'all can tell us, we have given money to support Turkey Creek over there. Do we remember who we actually wrote the check to last year?
If I'm not mistaken, it was Birmingham Southern, wasn't it?
I know we did them in the past, but did they actually get the funds last year? All right, so we don't want to send it there anymore. They're not open. So they are asking if we would, when that comes due, that we would send those funds to this group.
Shane.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we've been sending money to, for years we did it to Birmingham Southern to help support the Turkey Creek. They now would like to, they're out of the loop, of course, and so the Jefferson County Greenways Commission now has taken over the park. They'd like for us, any contributions that we might make toward that, to be made to that group rather than to an entity now that isn't even in business anymore, obviously. I couldn't remember if last year there was an intermediary. I couldn't remember if there was
We did
another park.
Birmingham Southern last year.
It was? Okay, all right. So clearly we need a new spot. So.
We have an agreement.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. So we'll, do you remember what time of year we normally give them the money?
I don't right offhand.
Okay, but it's not right. Okay. We're actually hoping to be kind of the other cities that participate, Irondale, Birmingham, a few others that have the parks inside of them. They're trying to get them to also do this. And so I told them, I said, well, we can kind of help lead the charge by doing our.
20,000.
Yeah.
And did
What
we?
Mayors is referring to, and he's exactly right. We've got an agreement set up and a structure for that.
Okay.
I'll pull those materials from what I have, and I'll send it so everybody's got a copy of it.
Okay, great. So did we do more last year or because for something else? Okay, good. Well, 20,000 is the number I had in mind also. One of the folks said used the number of 50, and I thought the only time we would have done more was the year that we did the tables
pavilion,
and stuff.
yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah. So, okay, good.
Now, we did not do anything last year for salary for the guys over there, right?
No, I think we
thought
did.
We did for the manager, didn't we?
That's what the 20 grand.
We did.
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
That's still in with it then.
Yeah, apparently we sent the money to Birmingham Southern and then they paid them off. No? So we have two separate funding scenarios?
changed the agreement last year.
Correct, but the money was going to Birmingham Southern, and then they were, okay, so we sent the money to the Jefferson County. Okay, well, we didn't have, okay, we can find out from them, see what the scoop was on it. They just now kind of got up and running, so that's why I was surprised we sent them any money, so, because this is new, so, okay, all right.
I'll pull those materials together.
Okay,
Get them
all right,
to you.
great.
Yeah.
I thought we passed it over, but I wasn't sure where money
Yeah,
was
no,
going.
and it's been, it's been a couple of years, hasn't it, Mayor? So, I mean, since, when Birmingham Southern began to pull out of that, y'all will remember that became a part of the larger
Correct.
group. And at that time, the city of Pinson entered into a agreement with them about how that would work going forward, as well as how how the contributions that the city might make towards it would go forward. And
Okay,
so-
well, good. So if we have that, and,
Pre-bankruptcy.
yes. I was thinking that we'd had that, but I wasn't sure. They're just asking the question, because again, they're trying to get, these other cities contribute a lot more money than what we do, because they have a lot bigger parks and stuff, so. Quintisha, are you going to do is there anything on the committee chair report? There's nothing listed, anything there? Okay, well, there will be one, and that would be on the payment of bills, so. Is there anything there that that we need to look at now?
Trade days is this Saturday, I think. Is this the first
Oh,
Saturday?
yeah, baby, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I will
No.
put
Are we
down,
gonna,
why don't you just mention that at the end?
the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's not really a quote-unquote
We
city
don't-
scenario, so we'll just
We-
put
we
that
don't-
down in the public
right.
comment on the thing. Everybody looking, any questions?
The only big thing I see is the locks and gates at the ballpark.
Okay. Having to dig deeper here. Anyone else see anything? If you do, get with Quintisha before the meeting starts. All right, then next we're going to move on. We're going to have a couple more public hearings. These are basically the ones for these are the continuations, pickups for the ones that we started last month with regard to the demolition of the buildings down on Main Street. And so, again, we'll have that here, I believe, and Mr. Black's here this time, and so we'll try to keep us straight. Again, we've got a little bit of order here, if y'all bear with me as we move through it. I'll try to get it pulled up on my computer there to make sure that we follow the things that are outlined, because again, we want to make sure we do everything correctly.
Ms. Moore, the attorney.
Yes, I was going to say, I believe the
here.
owner's representative is here, so I'm assuming she'll probably speak during that public hearing, so. Did you need to say anything more about that to the council before we get into the active meeting on
No,
that?
not necessarily, but I mean, I'm happy to kind of summarize where we are if you want me to again.
Yes, I
if
think
that's
I
helpful
think it'd be
to
good.
y'all.
Mhm.
Okay, so just by way of reference and summary, you've got two public hearings in front of you tonight that were continued from last time. They relate to two different properties down on Main Street, 4206, 4302, 4206, which is the same property, and then next door to it, 4310 Main Street. So for y'all, and just as a reminder to the public, so cities, and this city as well has the ability to manage properties to make sure there aren't unsafe structures within the city. And so these two structures have been identified by Chris as potential unsafe structures by his finding. And so the public hearing gives you an opportunity to hear from any member of the public or from the owners who want to come in and to respond to that, as well as give Chris an opportunity to get in front of you to tell you what his findings are. And then the council's empowered by state law to enter a finding that it is a public nuisance and unsafe and must be torn down, at which point the owner could either tear it down or the city council, failing that, could use its own forces to accomplish that, and then the cost of the demolition would be assessed back on that property as a lien. Now, because it is private property, the city is always very careful with that and has these public hearings. Notices have gone out to the owners. Title searches have been conducted to make sure we've identified who is the owner with respect to both of those properties. Now, as it relates to the structure that is at 4302, 4306. The city senate's notice is out. It posted the property. It has also put a newspaper publication posting out there, and the city has not heard, right, Chris? Has not heard anything from the owner. So that's the one that is in the middle between Prices and the outside. And then you've got 4310. 4310 Main Street is also a structure there. Those same notices have all gone out there, and that's where Ms. Moore is here as an attorney representing the owner, who is, I think, here with us tonight, or at least certainly represented by her. And so she will have an opportunity to address you as she did last time. The council will then have a decision to make when it comes to that point in time, whether or not you want to continue the hearing to provide some extra time, if that is what the request is, or if you want to take action to deem it unsafe and declare it that it needs to be torn down, or that you find that it's not unsafe. The council has that in front of it. So that's kind of an introduction for y'all and for the group. Mayor, did I summarize all that all right? That's where y'all are here, and that's what you've got in front. And if you have any questions as we go through it, then let me know.
So we can see what they're saying. Now, Chris, did you want to cover your stuff during the hearing, so it's all complete there on that, or?
Y'all are welcome to discuss it now if you'd like to. However, when we get to the public meeting hearing part of it, you'll need to do that again at that point
So
in time.
let's hold it, and that way we can just roll all that back through there. And that way, if anybody else comes and joins us, if they would have questions and all, then you could explain all that out, so. I was actually looking for the Cliff Notes version that you sent us. I'll need to try to find that. It's gotten lost with all our other stuff. Okay, depending on what happens during that hearing, y'all may receive information that may, influence your decision-making process. There are 2 resolutions that we can bring up, depending, again, like you just said, on which way we want to go. Should that need to happen, then we would need to have someone introduce those resolutions. Is there someone who wants to go ahead and kind of be shepherding those through, or the possible holding of those over to another meeting? You can if you'd like to, so I'm looking for volunteers.
I was at the planning and zoning, and
Said wait.
so,
Wait.
Okay,
Yeah.
so but someone will need to, based on what happens there on the thing, so if someone wants to bring them on up after the hearing, then you would do it. All right, the next thing after those right there occur, then, I believe it's okay then for us to have a general discussion among the council after the public hearing concerning what direction we might want to head without
Sure.
actually entertaining a motion, right?
Yeah, you can, as chair of the meeting. If you want to
Okay.
entertain that, you certainly can.
Okay, so
Yeah.
everybody's good with
Hey,
that?
the last thing too, I would say, is that, y'all all have notebooks with respect to this that will be entered into the minutes as it relates to the public hearing. And that just contains, so y'all can see it, the documentation which is related to both of these properties. So you've got a copy of Liz Pendon's, and I apologize for going through it. It's just not often that this comes in front of y'all.
Right.
Y'all have had it before, but it's been a couple of years, I think, John, hadn't it, since one has been in front of you. But you've got a copy of the Liz Pendon's. That's a document that we file on the city's behalf in the probate records, which would indicate to any potential buyer that this property has this issue that the council's looking at. It basically is putting everybody on notice. That's fair. And then also a copy of the advertisement that was in the Alabama Messenger. That's the legal advertisement, which serves to give notice. And then finally, you've got photographs of the buildings that are in here as well. And you've got that with respect to each one of these.
Okay.
The findings that are attached, they also, it's kind of lengthy, but it also includes all the information that went out in the letter to the owners as well.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what you got in your notebook.
All right. Next, and this needs to be added into your minutes, we will have another public hearing. This will be regarding zoning, potential zoning classification change at 8074/8080 Highway 75. It's up in Palmerdale. So if anybody needs to come and speak concerning that, then that will also take place at that time. Is there someone? Yeah, I was going to say, Glenda, so will you put the ordinance on the floor after the public hearing closes?
Yeah, well,
Okay. All right. Next is under old business, is the motion to adopt the 24-25 budget. I know this is one of our favorite subjects. Was there any discussion about that before we move back forward? I know, Brad, I know you weren't here last time. We had a proposal that I had made concerning the possibility of just taking the proposed budget and dividing it by 4 and going ahead and letting the staff insert that into the systems so that we could then compare that. It would give us a budget versus actual comparison sheet there on that. That did not move forward. There was objection to moving it forward.
Yeah, I watched.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
I did take a little time there and watch on my vacation, but I'm prepared to move forward with it as a whole. Knowing what a budget is used for and how it should be managed, I'm comfortable with what is in there, and knowing that it can change month to month if conditions change, if the situation changes. So I'm prepared to move forward. So if, it's the will of council, but I'm prepared to move forward with it if the rest of council is.
I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I've told you guys how I feel about that. We have to have a very tight management on this as we move forward, and I felt like it was a good tool to bring this stuff back to the council. I also feel like it's important to not send a signal to the staff by telling them you've got X number of dollars for the next, now it'd be 11 months or 10 and a half months. And then we have to come back and pull the rug out from underneath them because we suddenly realize as we delve deeper, we go, wait a minute, we've made a mistake. We're going to need to cut that budget back. I think it's better just to basically say, hey, look, work with us on this. Every 3 months, we're going to let you guys know, what we're thinking, and then move forward with that. I just,
I just think
Kevin will be here at the next meeting.
you will, okay.
Kevin will be
Yes.
here the next meeting? Okay, yeah. I just think you get the same result whether you pass it as a whole or whether you pass it quarterly. You can still do a quarterly evaluation. So.
If
I just-
Kevin's going to be here at the next
Let's just
meeting,
table
would it
this.
object?
Yeah, it's-
Would anyone object to just pulling it back off tonight?
I have no objection to tabling it until we hear from Kevin.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to just pull it back off. We're getting close, Madam Clerk, to the end of the first 3 months. Y'all might be able to run the report and shut me up. I don't know. Can you do a 2.5-month version by then? Okay. Perhaps, okay. All right, next is, it's been brought to our attention that we've got some maintenance issues that need to be looked at up at the PHCC. I think basically, that place is pretty old, and we haven't done anything with the paint up there in quite a while. So Glenda, you may want to speak to this, I don't know. We were contacted about it, or she was contacted about it, and I asked her if she'd swing by. Actually, I could pull up some pictures if we needed to see them, but if you guys are probably familiar with the place, the paint's coming off around the windows, the caulking's cracked and, coming off in a lot of places. There's some holes in the soffits. We've got an access hole, I think it may be on the fire department's portion where it goes down where to get to their pumping, sewage pumping system, the little cover plate's missing, so somebody could actually step in that and hurt themselves at night. In other words, just some general stuff up there that needs to be taken care of. The roof,
About 10 years.
it's been about 10 years?
I was thinking it's been a
Okay.
while since we've
And
done.
there's some, outside where they had some little pieces of wood, 2x4s, like a walkway or something, there's some metal stobs that were down in them to hold them in place, but now the wood's rotten, and those stobs are up. It's an accident-looking place to happen, a lot of areas over there.
Okay, so, and then the roof, we spent, probably 10 years ago, spent a lot of money replacing the roof up there, and it's, we don't know, but we don't think, but we won't know till we clean it. We need to have that roof cleaned, because it's not bright and silver shiny anymore. It's now dark from discoloration from, normal weathering. We need to get that cleaned off, and then that way we make sure the roof is not being damaged. It is a metal,
How many years has
Construction.
it been since we put that roof on there?
well, I'm guessing 10 years.
It's got to be at least 10 years.
Okay.
I think if we, my only way I know about this is my husband teach always up on the roof every so often, blowing it off and making sure it's clean because it will last longer. So the maintenance.
Right.
I think
So
that's
I don't-
probably what we need to do from now on, is to make
Well,
sure we keep it
I don't know if
cleaned off.
anything's collecting up there. I think it's just a
Yeah,
general
I think it's just
pollution drop
general-
and stuff on the thing.
It's,
so.
it's got
Yeah,
some,
age,
Doran was with me too, he can tell too, but
patina.
there was some black stuff all on it. It's
That's what
like-
we're talking about, natural
Yeah.
weathering effect that's
Yeah.
happening on the thing.
It's just natural patina of it, and it probably just needs to be touched up. And I don't have a problem making a motion to authorize the staff to investigate what it would take to,
Well, I
gather
know
bids
Eric
or-
might speak to it, but I'm assuming that this is something that you'd want to try to get contracted out, correct? To bring in some folks to actually do, this is not an in-house project, right?
Yes.
Okay, so, Brad, you're on.
You're it.
All right, next is, and Chris, if you need to, he may, I don't know, he stepped out again. I don't know if he needs to speak on this or not. Chris, is Chris back there?
Christopher.
The band and you might let the group know again, just to refresh. In the past, they have the big Pride of the Valley marching band competition. I believe it's later this month. We have helped them out in the past by providing police, and you're up there, I guess, so you can tell us, police and EMS, this is a huge, many thousands of people come in and all that jazz. so.
Several thousand parked on the side of the roadway, nowhere to park, buses, kids, people everywhere. I think we usually run 13 or 14 deputies and the paramedics are there we stagger when the deputies get there.
Mhm.
Some of us will get there early and stay all day, and some come later in the day when the crowd will get more and more.
So they do it based on the size of the schools. It starts early, they do the smaller schools, then it works on up, and then they feature the bigger bands actually at night. So it is an all-day event. It does get hot a lot of times. Band members pass out, parents in the stands pass out. It's very similar to Butterbean as far as the crowd and, people needing help.
There's tons.
We haven't had anybody have to go
Concentrated
to the
group of
hospital
people.
from, a flying drum stick or anything yet, but, that could happen. So would someone like to make a motion for us to cover those expenses? You would, Joe? Okay, so, all right. Next, I'm going to, let's see, and I just saw those emails there on the thing. Did you, Mr. Black, did you send me new language for the?
I printed it out, Robbie.
You did? Okay.
You're talking about for the designated funds?
Yes.
Yeah. Right here.
Great. Do we know those dates?
Dates for,
Of when the original $15,000 was appropriated?
I do not.
Well, it doesn't really matter, because what we need to do is that I need someone to make a motion for, as we discussed in that special meeting, basically a motion allowing the principals to spend the money for school purposes. We believe that the original language included the word whole school. And so what we want to do is we want to remove the word whole. So what I need is somebody to make a motion to if they're willing to make a motion basically to allow the principals to spend those funds at their discretion for school purposes.
I'll do that.
Okay, all right.
Do we have a resolution number that was done under? I think that would probably need to be referenced.
The earliest one I could find, I'll have to run to my office and grab
We-
it.
We're
Just let me
looking
know
for the
before-
one where we just gave them the night we gave them the checks for the $15,000. That's the one that has that's when the
I
motion
was
would
thinking
have
that
been.
was in July, but.
It was July. I don't know if it was the first meeting or the second meeting.
Yeah. If we
I didn't
just
think it
find a
was that long
resolution.
ago, so it was very recent.
Yeah, we just recently gave it to them.
Does he have to reference the actual
Ordinance number.
motion where we funded the monies?
As long as it's referenced with enough specificity that there's no question which appropriation series you're talking about. He's right, that it's best if you could make a reference to it, so it's a very clean connection. But you certainly want enough specificity, so there's no question anybody going back in the minutes could draw that connection, right?
You
Did
think
we
we
have
can
it-
find it before the meeting starts?
Did we have it with us at that special meeting, a copy of that,
I don't think we did.
on August 22nd?
So you want it from where we paid it last time?
Yes,
Okay.
if we can,
Yeah,
if
I
we can
can-
find that, then he can add that into his motion, and
Okay.
that way we'll be set. The school staff would they would need a copy of this if we pass this tonight, and then that way it frees up the bookkeeping people and all to be able to do what they
I'll
want to
email a
do.
copy to Mr. Turner and the other principals so they'll know.
Was there anything else?
Yes.
There is something, okay. Got special guests are coming in now.
We need a TV for the event room.
For the
TV
event
for
room.
the event room, okay. The what I affectionately refer to as the old kitchen, the lunchroom, event room, okay. This is for training purposes, where the folks want to put stuff up there.
100-inch.
100 inch. Do we know how much a 100-inch TV costs?
Hold one moment, please.
I want the Black Friday.
Black Friday deal,
Yeah.
yes.
Would your staff be willing to adjust according to the sales?
4,500.
Oh, 4,500? Oh, my goodness. Maybe we could buy two 55s or something.
Mirror the screen.
Is there something happening very soon where they need to get it up? Or can we research it and come back and hit it at the next meeting?
Butterbean.
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 Butterbean. So, what do they need it, what do they need the TV for, Butterbean? I can get you a temporary over there by rolling the one from the library down there if it's for the police or something. I can set you up that in the meantime.
We host people.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it's a big room, and a 50-inch TV is not quite appropriate for that size room. I agree with that. So, I mean, I see some that are anywhere from 2,000 up. So we could find some that are a little less expensive,
We have
assuming
to increase security over there if we put it in there.
assuming they meet our needs. So we probably just need some requirements around that, Mr. Mayor.
Smart TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think most of those would be smart at that size.
Yeah, most of them are going to be smart nowadays. We just need some
Are
requirements.
they readily
on-
available?
But, I mean, I'm sure we can find them.
Well, the reason I
readily
asked that is that we got the next meeting on the 18th, and the Butterbean was about 10 days after that. We didn't allow enough time to be able to do the research, get the specific television, and then vote on it at the next meeting.
I
and
think so.
still get
TVs
it
aren't
in.
on back order. They're making a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
I
They're
mean,
not usually here.
could we approve the funds up to an amount
That's your
tonight, and is everybody agreeable to that? And let the staff do the research and find the
Well,
appropriate.
there's been discussion about getting a television over there for quite a while. I didn't know it was quite that big, but because we host a lot of events over there, not this type of event, but there's been law enforcement meetings.
Yeah.
The library had a big shindig over there. I mean, we need a projection-ish type thing over there for people's
Yeah,
presentations.
something
so.
people can see from the back of the room, yeah.
I mean,
agree with
I
that.
could see where it could be used in other events too, where somebody may just want to show
Sure.
a video or something.
Sure.
so.
I would say somebody could offer,
Eric, do we have a way to hang it? I mean, will the wall hold up something that big? Okay.
those cinder block walls are pretty sturdy.
Who wants to put it out? Somebody, just tell me and give me a number and we'll be good. Or when you do it, I'm gonna just put, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put down, motion to purchase TV for Rock School event room. Is there someone who wants to, Glentisha, you wanna, or John, you wanna put that on, or?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
But did you put an amount on there?
No, I'm gonna leave that up to you. That's what, Brad just said 2,500.
Well, I see some in the $2,000 range. Not looking at specifications, I don't know if they meet our criteria. That, those may not be smart TVs. They may,
3,500 or less.
Okay,
That
Yeah.
would give you room for a mounting bracket, everything.
okay. 3,500, John.
Okay.
Okay. In 2 years, they'll be on sale on Black Friday for $7.99. So you know how that works, the
is
size,
true.
they just, one day, the TV's gonna be bigger than the house. Okay, was there anything else? Okay, we got only about 3 or 4 minutes, but we'll take a little break. We'll start back up at 7 and roll on through and see how it goes. No, you're cool. Before we start, the principals are not here, correct? Okay, all right, just want to make sure. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting of the Pinson City Council to order, the meeting of September the 5th, 2024. If everyone will please rise for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And if you've got cellular devices that might make noises, I may have some myself, please turn those to silent mode. Father, we thank you again for this evening and for allowing us to be able to meet in this nice place. We thank you for the many blessings that we've received here in the city of Pinson. We thank you especially for the people that live here and for the all the different activities that take place and the production that happens and the nice living that we have here. We really do thank you for that. We ask that you would always be with our children as they're participating in various sporting events, high school and youth sports and everything else, and protect them. We also ask that you would always guard our EMS and fire fighters along with our law enforcement officials. Father, always protect them. We know that some people are on the wrong path, and we know that they're helping try to keep that under control, but please protect them at that time. Guide us this evening, give us wisdom as we consider this business, and we just ask that you would watch over us. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. All right. I believe that Mr. Walker has a motion concerning our acting clerk. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to offer a resolution to appoint Heather Lind as acting clerk treasurer.
This is there a second?
Second.
Well, that was stereophonic. I'm gonna let Ms. Lind decide which one gets the credit on that. Again, this would be this is the I believe the former number was 26005.
2405.
24005. This is exactly the same resolution as 24005. This will now be 24008, I believe.
2408.
08, okay. I've seen too many James Bond movies, I guess. It's basically the exact same thing where Ms. Lynn could conduct business here as the acting clerk while Marie is out. Any discussion? All in favor of this motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor said aye also. Okay. Ms. Lynn, may we have the roll call, please?
Counselor Irvin?
Here.
Counselor Walker?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Roberts?
Here.
Counselor Churchwell?
Here.
Counselor Kirkland?
Here.
Mayor Cochran?
Here.
Excellent. So it's a little different order from normal, but that worked out fine. Let's see here. Next, Ms. Kirkland, on some minutes from a couple of meetings we've had since our last meeting.
Yes, I would like to offer a motion to approve and waive the reading of the minutes as written for August the 15th, 2024, a regular meeting, and August 22nd, 2024, a special called meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Was there any discussion about those minutes? Everything looked good? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And so those minutes are approved. Okay, at this time I'm going to suspend the rules because we've got some special guests. They weren't sure if we were going to give them chairs apparently earlier when they walked in. But we will need to make sure the microphone's working up here for them, guys. But we've got some special guests here. I'm going to have Carly Stanford come up first and let her introduce everyone and talk. They're going to share with us about the Jefferson County Greenways Commission. Of course, I've mentioned in the past that I'm the newest Still the newest? Okay. Newest member of the commission, but it's good to actually get the folks that you guys wanted to actually talk to somebody who really knew what was going on, because they're having to bring me up to speed. So we thought we'd bring in the real experts. We're very excited to have our new superintendent. He's here tonight, so you guys will get a chance to get to meet him too. So thanks. Since the last time you were here, we've had some members of the public asking about the park and what all's going on, so we thought it'd be great for you guys to fill us all in.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having us here tonight. I'm Carly Sanford. I'm the Executive Director of the Jefferson County Greenways. I'll do a quick recap of how we got here in this formation and how it impacts Turkey Creek and Pinson. And then I'm going to let my colleagues here, Brandon, who is the park manager of Turkey Creek. You have met him before. He has been here to talk to you all. Our newly hired this past late spring summer superintendent, Fran Marks, overseeing the new structure, and then Leah Davis, who is our development director. As a recap, several years ago, we started working on a solution to consolidate and be more efficient with how we operate large acreage parks in Jefferson County. So Jefferson County is one of the only counties, especially being the economic driver and the most populous, that does not have a Parks and Rec department. So what has happened because of that is you had separate entities maintaining large acreage green spaces, those spaces that have more visitation than your typical pocket park, or that stretch beyond city limits. If you think about Ruffner Mountain, you've got Irondale, Trustville, Birmingham, Mountain Brook, unincorporated Jefferson County. So there was a solution needed for Turkey Creek, Ruffner Mountain, and Red Mountain Park. Turkey Creek, in case some of you did not know, it was previously operated by Birmingham Southern College. So it was very critical that we worked to get a solution before what ended up happening this past spring. So what we have now is, while it's not a Parks and Rec department, we have a unique solution for our unique county, where we have merged the two nonprofits, Red Mountain Park Foundation, that's where Leah Davis was originally hired, with Ruffner Mountain Nature Coalition. All of the parks, their names stay the same, nothing changes there, but the entities behind them, the people behind them that are maintaining them daily, providing programs, improvements, planning, they fall under the Jefferson County Greenways. So we have a nonprofit and a state agency commission that Robbie referenced. And that commission has been so important to bring cities, the county, and the state together to help fund these public spaces. Parks are infrastructure. So in the past, it was primarily donor dollars, and it wasn't sustaining the maintenance. So now we have it so that this, because we're all together, Turkey Creek benefits from this significantly. The state of Alabama, Jefferson County, the city of Birmingham, the city of Pinson, the city of Homewood, and the city of Irondale, all coming together to say these things are important and we want to support them and help with resources and just amplify for our community these lovely spaces that we have. So the transition is still taking place. All the legal documents are done. The boards have voted. The names are being changed on accounts. So there's still a lot of work happening behind the scenes. But one of the most incredible things with this that I've got to be a part of is the addition of more staff and more people at our parks and preserves. So I'll let Fran say hello and let Brandon share what it's been like this summer. And just so y'all know, Charles Yeager is still with us. He is has not gone anywhere. He has been out at Turkey Creek and at Red Mountain and Ruffner working more on the conservation planning, planning side, really just learning the other parks as well. So he is still on this team, and he is still very passionate about Turkey Creek. So I will hand it over, and then if y'all have additional questions, I will come back and answer.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Just thanks for the opportunity to come in and speak before you. That was a great summary of the history of Jefferson County Greenways and all of the parks, but I don't have much to add. So what I will say is just thank you for everything that you're doing for the parks. We do appreciate everything that you're doing for Turkey Creek, because without you and the support that you give to the to the preserve, it wouldn't be what it is today. So just thank you for what you're doing. I look forward to serving alongside you and helping the park continue to excel in the future. So again, thank you for the opportunity. I truly appreciate it and super excited to be here.
So Fran, we tell everybody about your past background, where you came from? And all
More
that
than happy to do that. So I'm a native of Birmingham, Alabama. Finished at Fairfield High School, Miles College. I joined the military, and I've been gone for about 25 years. And now I've made my way back home to Birmingham. Super excited about being here. I've loved nature. I've been in nature. I used to go run at Roughing the Mountain as a young man. And now I view it through a different lens. So again, it's just super excited to view it through that different lens, and just to kind of get to know some things about the park that I did not know while I was running up and down those hills. So.
Great.
So, all right, thank you.
Okay, Brandon, you got to share with us about, because Charles told me about all the happenings going on over at Turkey Creek this
Yes, sir.
summer.
I've got notes, so I can give
Oh,
you
yeah,
some
okay,
numbers.
this is great.
So I'm Brandon. I'm the new park manager down at Turkey Creek. So what do we got? Let's see numbers-wise. First of all, this year we have tracked 29,000 cars coming in. So that's roughly 75,000 people based on our math. Now, that's just for this year. We're still not done yet. So we've got 75,000 people coming through Turkey Creek. Our average daily traffic is up from 129 last year up to almost 139 this year. So we're seeing an increase about 10 vehicles per day, so that's a good thing. Programs and volunteers. So last year there was a total of 32 programs, including that was field trips, volunteer events, et cetera. This year, with the help of Jefferson County Greenways and the increased staff, we've been able to host 51 programs so far this year, and we're still going. We've got Darter Dash coming up next weekend, and we've got a volunteer event that we just finalized just today for a few weeks from now, so even more programs to come. So that's been a direct result of the help and the support that Turkey Creek has gotten as being a member of Jefferson County Greenways. To that, as y'all all know, Charles, he was here by himself, right? The only full-time employee of Turkey Creek for the longest time, had some part-time help, a lot of great volunteer help from the Friends of Turkey Creek Nature Preserve. This year, as part of the Jefferson County Greenways Commission, we've had 4 people at the preserve every day, every Saturday and Sunday during the summer busy season. This increased presence has led to a noticeable reduction of incidents, safety incidents, rule violations. And from a more positive note, which is more of what I'm interested in, we're able to engage with the public a lot more. We've had naturalists out there on the weekend engaging with kids and really just getting out there and showing people what's going on. We've got a lot of great plans for next summer to formalize some of that stuff and have it be even more robust. But yeah, we only had this summer, knock on wood, we've had 2 EMS calls this summer. From what I understand, there was around 7 last summer, if I'm not mistaken, so I count that as a win. But yeah, those extra people, that staff, has just been key to really improving not just the safety of the preserve, but also the visitor experience while they're there. And what's coming up, so geez, I mean, we're in the middle of a major office remodel, so we're getting some office space for the first time. That's going to allow some of the Greenway staff to come out and be more involved with Turkey Creek. We've got improvements to the picnic areas coming up, some new fencing going up, more landscaping, new trash cans. We're constantly working to improve Turkey Creek for the visitors and as an asset to this community. So we thank the city for their support, and with the Jefferson County Greenways, we're just going to keep on getting better and keep on offering more.
Brandon, sounds good. We appreciate that.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Leah Davis, like Carly Sanford said. Mayor Cochran, it's really good to see you again. My 3rd day at Red Mountain Park. Me, Carly, T.C. Macklemore, that used to be at Red Mountain, and Mayor Cochran went down to Montgomery. And that was my first time meeting people. It was my first time ever hearing of Turkey Creek, actually. But I do want to point out that this would not have happened if Turkey Creek was not in the picture. And it would not have happened if Pinson was not already contributing. And so Birmingham was one of the first cities at the table, but when we went down to the state, when we talked to the county, and they were pointing blame at whose responsibility it was, and we don't have the money, and we pointed out the city of Pinson is contributing money to keep this park open. And that was a really big selling point. So I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for all that you're doing. Mayor Cochran, thank you for your leadership. Robbie, thank you for your leadership and for coming on board with us and agreeing to serve as we work through this transition. Please come out to the Preserve. We're open Wednesday through Sunday. Please enjoy the space. It is a very unique space. Everybody does not have that where they live. So please take advantage of it. And if you need anything, we're all here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
For being here.
So are there, I'm sure you guys might have a question or two for these folks, so we'll open it up and let y'all.
No questions, but thanks for your support of the park here in Pinson. It's a beautiful place, and we appreciate y'all's support and keeping it up the way you do.
Thank you. I know I should end, but Leah passed out some about field trips, and you'll have some principals, I believe, coming. I think it's worth noting that with this structure too, Pinson, a school within the Jefferson County system, we've been adding education staff, so the field trips are free for Jefferson County schools, and this is kind of the next phase and iteration. So we brought those. Very glad some principals are going to be here. They can pass them to the appropriate teachers.
If they're not, well, we probably will get them to them at the
We'll
next
get it.
meeting, or I'll
Yeah.
see them, and so we'll
I'll
make
take
sure.
them to the PTA meeting.
Perfect.
next week.
Thank you.
I'll get 'em out.
There you go. That's perfect. Thank you.
We'd love
so
for
much.
them to come in. Did anyone else up here have any?
No,
John?
I would just like to say that I like the statistics that the gentleman gave us. We'd like to see them on a pamphlet somewhere.
Perfect. Some regular updates. Perfect.
We'll get you a copy of the ones, our library is big about letting everybody know about summer reading and stuff, so we'll keep all that right there going on there. And I know that we have a lot of plans going on at the commission with things, especially connecting the two parks that are closer to Birmingham and all, and the things it's going to have to be a little bit more long-term before we can connect Turkey Creek to those, but that's okay, because folks that might be out at Red Mountain Park, which is a very large, very popular park out there, it's giving them a chance to learn about our neighborhood, and it gets them a chance to get to come out here and see that. And the folks here are able to learn more about the parks down there, and they each have their own personality, but it's a really great system that's not that far away when you're looking at world-class type stuff. So we do really appreciate being a part of that team there on that. So there's a gentleman from the public.
I just wonder, how do you contribute to this park? I used to contribute to Turkey Creek via Birmingham Southern.
You mean financially or helping or what?
Financially.
We can send out a link. We have a donation link, and so we can forward that over to Robbie, and Robbie can get it out to the public.
And we're working on this is a change that I cannot wait for you all to be able to experience, one website, so all of them will redirect to make it a lot smoother and simpler to find a trail map. And currently we have on each of the websites the donation link and the membership if you want to do a reoccurring smaller gift to help support the programs and operations. So,
Great.
website coming soon. We're in the works right now. JeffersonGreenways.org.
Great. It's a lot of logistics behind the scenes of having 3 separate groups, and the funding mechanisms, the leadership mechanisms, and everything else. And we really thank Carly for all the work that she's done in trying to keep all that behind the scenes stuff going. When you're walking around on the trails out there, it all seems like, well, this is all natural. This shouldn't be a problem at all. But there's a whole lot of things that happen behind the scenes. So we really do appreciate all you guys and for coming out and sharing with us tonight, and look forward to hearing back from y'all again soon. So
That's good.
All right.
thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and reinstate the rules. If you folks want to stay, you're perfectly more than welcome to. Okay. If they leave, it's not because they're bored, but they are busy people, and, you know, I did warn them, okay? Let's see here. We're now going to move on to committee chair reports and the payment of bills.
Yes. I would like to offer a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $110,647.09.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Ms. Urban, was there any thing in particular there, any highlights that you thought we should point out?
We got our new security gates at the sports place for $30,000.
So that was the largest line item, I believe, on there, was that?
Yes.
Everything else was pretty much standard operating scenarios. All right, any other questions or comments? If not, I will ask all in favor of approving that payment of bills to say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So, Madam Clerk, more fun. Okay. All right, now we're going to move on into a public hearing portion, and I will, to make sure that I keep this straight, I'm going to please invite Attorney Black to feel free to interrupt the chair at any time to keep him straight, okay? Because we do want to make sure we handle this correctly. But first off, what I want to do is I'm going to open a public hearing concerning the demolition of a building or structure located at 4310 Main Street. So if there's anyone here who would like to speak concerning the 4310 property, then please come forward at this time.
Good evening to the mayor, to the council. I'm Attorney Jamiria Moore. I represent the owners of the property at 4310. We were here at the last meeting, and since that last meeting, I don't know if it was a formal meeting. The attorney was not here at that time. However,
It was, but.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. What we presented is that we did do a structural engineering analysis of the building that told us the things that needed to be corrected. We've been working with Jefferson County engineer, which is Jeff Garner, on making sure that we have complied with the elevation certificate, which we presented to you all on the last time. Since that time, my clients have had 2 or 3 individuals that were interested in opening a business in that and purchasing that property from them. At that time, they reached out to the city to see if they would be in compliance with zoning and if that would be allowed. They were informed that they wanted to do mechanic shops. We were told that that would not be approved. I since then have requested a list of what zoning ordinances would allow my clients an opportunity to possibly sell and or complete the structure and fix the building so that they could have a properly operating business in that location. So we were told tonight that we would get a list of things that would be acceptable for that particular building. So that is one of the things that we are working with and working on. We have, since that time, of course, you know that they have placed tape around the building for no one to go around it. They've also placed a no trespassing on the open lot that's next door that they own as well to make sure that there's no liability to my clients. We are working aggressively with several engineering firms to get plans according to our engineering assessment that was done and that was presented. I think I did give it to the building, the engineering report. I gave it to the building inspector. Yes. No, I'm talking about the structural report from the engineering company, or either that or to the to the attorney. So they have a copy of that, and if not, I have a copy tonight to disseminate to whomever needs a copy of that. And I will entertain whatever questions that the council may have. We are asking for additional time for us to make sure that my clients have an opportunity to make the best out of the property that they purchased without the knowledge, and they did not know at the time of purchase that that building was being condemned.
Okay. Is there anyone who has questions, perhaps? Oh, I'm sorry. Mayor Cochran has some questions.
Then you shortly after.
He said they knew shortly after.
Oh, okay, concerning the condemnation of the building.
Right, they found out when they received the documentation from the attorney. Well, at least they brought it to me. I don't know if they had legal knowledge of it. Maybe they had some type of knowledge that was given to them verbally, but they received the letter was filed, I think, in July or in June. It was July the July the 10th, and we were supposed to come to the meeting in August.
Okay.
That's when they received the official letter.
Okay, so Chris, the current zoning for all these properties is town center, is that correct? Okay. So basically, within our zoning ordinance, you can look and.
Please,
Okay.
I'm typing. I made an offer to make them whole.
He made an offer to make them.
Okay, so I just want to make sure we're clear on the zoning aspect. So within our zoning ordinance, you would be able to look and see all the things that are allowed within a town center
Yes.
zoning
Yes,
scenario.
I was informed that I would get a copy of that as well.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think it's on our website, isn't it? So- I think it is, but, yeah, yeah. So I'll pull that up. Okay. Chris, as part of the hearing, you can come on up also. And tonight we have the photos. I don't believe we looked at the photos. We didn't dive into that. You might actually explain the
can.
property in question, and
Eric,
we're going
can
to
you
move on to
zoom
the
that in
next one
just
in
a
a
little
minute.
bit? Yeah, that's fine. The property at the bottom of the screen is Price's Drug.
That's the one with the nice white
That's
colored
well,
roof on that.
correct.
Okay, all right.
The one without a roof is the 4302 and the 4306. It just has two addresses.
Okay.
And the one on the top is the 4310.
Okay.
What I want to clarify something for the mayor. What he was trying to say is shortly after this property was purchased, he reached out and tried to buy the property for the cost. Hey, and that's not legal. That's not a legal knowledge. That's what she was saying. We've yet to hear anybody say these weren't dangerous buildings. I'm starting to worry about prices. I mean, this is y'all's decision, and you need to take it as that. But I'm beginning to worry about prices. We do have a business there that is sitting next to these two buildings.
Can you explain how it looks like, now, is there a partial roof here on the 40?
On the 4310, there is
4310?
as you can see, the front part, I don't know, it go ahead.
No, that's the front part of the building is the part that mixing the roof. And
Yeah.
per our engineering assessments from a licensed engineer, stated that if that part was safed up, which my clients, I believe, came to get a building permit to just do the roof, which they didn't have drawings, we understand, and we are getting those. But the front part of the building that you see, that is the part that is unstable. The back part of the building is stable. There is nothing wrong, and if I could walk over, I could
Absolutely.
possibly show you exactly what I'm talking about. From this part here.
Eric, will you
Ms. Moore,
point?
will you use that one so we can see?
I apologize. I'm teaching class.
Okay, cool.
Teaching class, I'm sorry. So from this point here, you have a missing roof, okay?
Okay.
From back this way, the structure is safe. There's not, you got some cracks, but those cracks are not no more than you get from concrete that cracks at your home. It does not mean that it's deteriorated to the point that the building is gonna fall. However, in this area, because the structure of the roof is missing, that would indicate that there were metal plates here that can be still put there if once we can get a building permit to get this done. We are working on drawings. I understand that those drawings have to be completed. One of the other issues is that we have a load-bearing wall that is adjoining to a building here that my clients don't own. They don't own this building at all. That is not something that they acquired. In addition, I'm not sure if this is a standalone structure or not. I have never walked into this, I think it's an ice cream shop. Or
Yeah, that's the Price's
Yeah, you
Drugs.
might be
Yes,
able to
the-
say if it's a standalone.
The building on the end? Yeah, well, I believe they can be torn down
Okay.
like they are.
All right, because I'm not sure if they don't have any connectivity for that building here. However, this wall is a load-bearing wall that connects. However, the only structure in the unintegrity or what you're talking about, dangerous, is in this front area, that if this is moved, this wall is moved, and the front wall, you still have a solid structure from here back. That structure is solid from this point back. However, we do have to go through the county to get the engineering drawings, and that is what the engineer is working on. It is, and if, I know you all have worked with the county before, to get any engineering drawings through the county, it takes a while. We want this to be as safe as possible. My clients are working to do that. However, there are hoops you gotta go through. It doesn't take, a couple of days to get an engineering drawing together. I did that for 26 years. So I can tell you it takes time. And everybody wants to make sure that if anything is demolished in this area, that you're not going to affect this building that's a building that's here. So there's going to, even if it is taken down, it's still gonna require drawings because you still have a operating, functioning drugstore that people go to here. So you're still faced with those things, but from this point backwards, you have a strong structural building that is safe. This part up, we do need to have that removed from here up. There's about 24 inches of concrete foundation on this building. So we're asking for additional time. We're gonna make sure that it's safe. We're not trying to stall, we're trying to get this, I need to get this done. And that's what we're asking the council and the mayor for today, is additional time to get the drawings completed so that we can make sure that whatever goes in that structure is something that's going to assist the city to become a tax earning property. I'm sure that's what the city wants.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak regarding this? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing portion for the 4310 Main Street and immediately open a public hearing for the 4302, 4306. One day I may learn why there's actually two addresses on that right there, but I'm going to open that hearing. Is there anyone here to address the demolition of the building or structure, which I think we just saw on the photo there from the overhead, that portion? It's my understanding that the owners have not been in contact with any
That's
city
correct.
personnel or anything. so.
Everything's been posted, everything's been sent, everything's been mailed out there. We're still not in contact with anybody.
Chris, do you want to talk specifically about this building? Looks like there's a vehicle and
No,
a bunch
there's
of,
two.
was there been a fire in there or what,
No,
what happened exactly?
I don't think so. There's
Okay.
just two vehicles in there. This building, the front's going to fall down.
Okay, that's what we're fearful of.
We're also worried about,
I don't know that when y'all took that picture that day, the car that's parked in front of it may not know. They may come back and their front end may be
Yeah,
squished.
and again, we're becoming more and more, we have the Butterbean coming up. We have a lot of events right there on Main Street, and I worry about kids. And we haven't been contacted by anybody about this.
We've had some stuff fall from that.
Yeah. We went out again today, and we think on the Price's side, we can tear the building down.
It looks like two walls.
Explain the section, I'm not sure if those are plants growing back there or what, but what is this? Okay, so it's a parallelogram or something back there in the back. Whose is that?
That belongs to the, what's his name? This property.
That's gonna be probably your second address.
Okay, so was that originally another building that faced the other street? It's not actually on Main Street? That's
Yes.
what it is. But that is part of the property of this 4302 and 4306?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we would be potentially removing that also, which would be
Yes.
behind Price's Drugs. Okay. Though it's been down so long, there actually is trees growing back there in the building. Okay. Okay. Did anyone have any questions for Chris on this particular?
So do we have any information structurally how removing that middle building will affect the other two?
We do not. We do not.
So it looks like there's a slight gap here between Price's and that wall. It looks like there are
I
two
think
walls
Price's is
there, but
okay. I don't know about the 4310, and that's part of theirs. And it's if we don't remove that one, it's dangerous to their building. So, again, I'm not an engineer and don't claim to be.
Looking through the window it appears that their property and the one that we're speaking of now does have a common wall.
it does share a common wall.
Yeah, but when you look over at the Price's side, it looks like there's a roof difference in elevation of about 6 or 8 inches, and there may be a block wall with the white line you see, and a brick wall, the darker line you see. That would be something that someone like Hal's gonna need to be inside and do some reviews, even if before an engineer or with an engineer before we make a final decision. That's what it appears to be.
No, that wall could be left.
Okay.
I mean, the building, the common wall there, whoever come to the guy that we normally use, he's bonded it, inserted, or something. I mean, that's.
Basically, he could remove the face of the building, the rear of the building, all that portion that's back in the back where the tree, he could remove the trees.
And the trucks.
The vehicles could be hauled off, and without disturbing, and he could be very careful to make sure we're not disturbing any of the integrity of the wall of the Price's Drug property
Yes.
too, so.
Yeah.
Could be an entertainment venue.
I'm sorry, about the entertainment.
It could
He
be
said
an
it could be an
Could be an entertainment venue, okay. Okay, so, Mr. Black, is there any way that we can legally gain access to that center property to allow our building inspector to go in there and start ascertaining what's going on before we move forward, or is that would be the next step?
That would
after
be
we
the next
decide?
step if you determine that it's unsafe and it needs to be demolished.
Okay. All right.
Okay? So with 40, and we're talking about 4302
Yes.
slash
06.
06 at this point.
Would you look at there
So-
one minute, Eric? If you guys look, this is the front door swing. I would think it would be nearly nothing to solve this block right here if we just needed a walk-in access.
Could you come on this
Close
side?
the hearing.
So we can see?
Oh, okay. Anyone, there was no one else, I believe, that anyone that wanted to speak to that. So I'm going to close the hearing for the 4302-4306 Main Street. All right, so we need to have a discussion among ourselves here about what direction the council might want to go. We can look at these independently. They do not have to be in conjunction. We may want to move forward on one, not move forward on the other, grant these folks some more time to be able to do their engineering work and all. Chris, I still want to be able to ask. Originally there was a question, I want to make sure, because I know that the night that we had the first hearing, Mr. Gunner had just given them the letter.
Right.
So you've had a chance now to review this letter and see
Yeah, and
what's going
I
on?
spoke to Mr. Gunner. Well, everything's correct. The building itself is of enough elevation, it can be repaired.
So they're not under any restrictions with regard to federal rules
They
and
have to
building?
obtain a floodplain permit
Okay,
and operate under that.
Okay.
But the monetary restrictions are not there.
okay. So they could drop $1 million in there, no problem. if they want. You said it's going to be nice, so.
I'm typing.
Go ahead.
More time recommended for 10.
more time recommended for 10. I think-
Agreed.
I agree.
Yep.
John, you on board with that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because like I say, they seem to be wanting to come forward with a game plan. You folks seem to be interested in actually doing a development here in the city of Pinson, and we're definitely interested in that sort of thing. And we want to see progress. Y'all been very good about coming in and answering our questions and about showing us your plans there on that. So, thank you. Now, what about folks, we have...
Robbie, if I could.
Okay.
So just to summarize the discussion 10 and make sure that we're all on the same page. So if it is the council's will, then I think that the proper way to handle that, and Ms. Moore, might be to understand your request is that the council postpone the public hearing and take it back up at a particular time that y'all can come up with, and with the understanding that the city reserves all of its rights with respect to moving forward with the demolition. And I would also offer, Robbie, that one possible option, given this unique situation here with 10, is that, I mean, the city's main concern, of course, as we all know, is that it appears to be an unsafe structure, certainly unstable and so there's a responsibility to the public to try to get it cleaned up. So that's, the city's interest is in just making sure, right, Mr. Mayor, that it is no longer unsafe. And so to that extent, if you have repairs in mind for the front, then we could even consider, council could consider entering into a remediation agreement where this process is kind of put on the shelf pending an agreement with the owner that the owner is going to take these steps to make sure that the structure is stable, if that's where this discussion leads. And I just want to let y'all know that that is an option. But as far as tonight with respect to 10, if y'all should want to do so, then the action would be, Robbie, if you don't have any objection, to accept that request and then to order the public hearing to be continued until, and then y'all come up with a date that is appropriate to continue it to that would be satisfactory.
So that is exactly what I'd like to do is, without objection, I'd like to continue that public hearing. I would like to delay it for a period of a month, which would be our first meeting in October. If we can get you the exact date on that right there to give enough time. October the 3rd. So if there's no objection, that's what we're going to do. That does not require council vote, I don't believe. Just
As long as there's no objection amongst the council, you could declare it so as chair.
Okay.
Y'all know I'm fond of Main Street and would like to see it revitalized, and I think that's a fair thing to do if they're willing to go in and do that work and they're capable of doing so without restriction. I think it's worth the wait.
Okay. All right, now, with regard to the 4302 and...
To demolish the other.
Yes, so I was thinking in the same terms. This thing really looks shaky in the middle. I didn't realize all that stuff was in there till we saw the overhead photos. Is there a, is someone willing to put forth a resolution, which I believe we have here, concerning the 4302, 4306?
So moved.
All right. Mr. Mayor, he was barely ahead of you there, although he may have hit the button first. I'm going to let the clerk decide who was the motion and who was the second. There is a resolution, that's been prepared, resolution 24-07. Mr. Black, do we need to state much here within this, or just state that this is the one as written that's proposed?
Yes, sir. You've got it here, ready for your action. You just need to fill in the blanks in section 1 as to the 2 dates for the public hearings, because it was technically held last month and this month. There's a blank in section 1 where we would add both of these dates, and then if you're ready to act, then you could take it up. And to answer your question that you posed to me earlier, yes, should this council vote on this resolution and approve it, then you will be authorizing and directing the city to begin the process of demolishing this structure. Now, because of its unique location, I mean, in the past, when the city has had structures that it's demolished, right, Mr. Mayor, they've been freestanding structures on their own in the middle of a yard, and you didn't have to worry about neighboring structures. Right. Not the case here, right? So here, I expect that this demolition is going to be more expensive for the city because the city will be able to enter onto the property after adopting this resolution to begin to study the proper way to take it down without it having an impact on either of the structures on either side.
In conjunction with, I think they've already left now, but in conjunction with the city staff, would the individuals that own the 4310 property, would they be able to view this potential common wall? Would they be able to go in there and have their engineering staff look at that as they try to work on their plan?
I would say we could absolutely allow them to do that.
Okay.
If it affects the integrity of their
Okay,
property.
I just wasn't sure if we could allow a private company to go
I
on the
feel quite
site.
certain after talking with Attorney Moore that they would welcome that if this is the action the council is taking.
Okay.
With respect, because, they've communicated their intent to try to repair that
Okay.
property.
So like I
and
say, we
keep
need
that
to have some
pristine.
teamwork between the two since there's that wall.
Absolutely. If the
We may
council
actually be not
adopts
touching a
this,
particular wall.
Then Chris
so.
and I will work with them to try to coordinate that communication and with prices as well.
Okay.
I just had one question with Chris. He mentioned the county being involved in it. Is the county out of it now, or is they still?
When she referred to engineering drawings down there, I didn't understand that.
Jeff Gunner is an engineer with the county.
Okay.
He handles all the floodplain stuff.
So that's all, just that?
Yes, part of that property is in the floodplain, but they had an elevation study done and it showed the building not in the floodplain. Which, if it was in the floodplain, you can only spend 50% of the value over 20 years. It doesn't fall into that. They just have to have a floodplain permit.
Okay.
Is
from the
that
county.
what she was referring to? Is he still doing an engineering
No,
drawing showing
that
that, or
would be
what's all
that would be
complete?
their engineers on the
Their
repair
design
of the building. You're
yes.
correct.
Okay, when she used Jefferson County and said that they were a delay and all, really that's a private engineering firm that
Yeah.
she's working
Right.
with,
Yes.
not the county
Yes,
itself.
the county engineer solely for the floodplain.
And he's finished.
Well, he will issue a floodplain permit when they ask for one.
Okay.
Oh, when the home request, yes.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, if I may.
Go ahead.
Down there, Ms. Moore, the question that was posed in connection to 4302, 4306 is, this council has not yet voted on the resolution, but there's discussion up here about adopting the resolution that would result in the city's demolition of that property, which sits between
Your next door
client's
neighbor.
property and Price's. With respect to that, if the city does take that measure, it would like to do what it can to inspect that common wall between the two before it takes action. Would you and your clients be amenable to the city having access to your client's property to review the wall?
No problem.
Okay.
No problem whatsoever. We will be more than happy whenever the city wants to get in, we'll make sure that they can get in. That's what we're trying to work out now.
Okay.
So for the front half, we're looking at removing the front half. I think you say you have an event coming. The front half that does not have the roofing, that's what we're working with your building inspector on now to see if that may be something that we can do back to where it's a solid structure until we can get the complete drawing. That's what we're trying to work through now. So
Okay.
we don't have any issue with them getting in.
Thank you.
No problem.
And we would reciprocate too if your engineering team needed to go into this other property and look at that too.
Yes,
Okay, thanks.
thank you.
Any other questions concerning this resolution? Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call vote?
Hang on one second.
Okay, sorry.
You good? Okay.
We do not need to have a unanimous consent on this considering the time period, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Counselor Irvin?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Churchwell?
Yes.
Counselor Kirkland?
Yes.
Mayor Cochran?
Yes, yes, yes.
Move on.
All right, so I'll take that as the motion passes unanimously, and it is, oops, I changed my page, it is
24.
Resolution 24-07. All right, I'm sure everybody will be excited about that. All right, next is we're going to, believe it or not, this might be a record for us here. We're going to open a third public hearing concerning the rezoning of a property at 8074/8080 Highway 75. If if anyone would like to come and speak concerning that, the rezoning of that piece of property, now is your opportunity. Please come forward, sir, and state your name and give your address. Our clerk likes to keep track of this stuff. We make her, actually.
My name is Dinesh Patel, and I have property next to them. I have a gas station as well. The concerning, I have rezoning for the gas station as well, those property, and another gas station is coming, there's going to be too much traffic problem right there. That's my understanding, but it depends to you. As car was coming to as well, so it's getting too much traffic on it. So you take a decision. That's your decision. It's my decision as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Chris, do we have other, okay, so right now, we're not looking at a traffic impact potentially for this one particular.
I don't know that. That would be up to Aldott. They would have to do all that stuff before anything could be allowed.
Okay, all right. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Paul Kellenberger. I live at 8362 Highway 75. I have been a resident of Palmerdale since 1989. I am no stranger to rezoning issues. My family has dealt with it for 30 years plus. I have some concerns as well. One is traffic. It's in a very unusual location. We do have a problem with speeding out in Palmerdale, especially early in the morning. I do have some questions concerning is there going to be a dedicated right-hand turn lane into this premises? And of course, you do have the center turn lane going north that you can turn into the proposed building, but it may be a little too short because you're going to have people also coming in going onto Miles Spring Road, I believe, and Marsh Mountain's handled by the right turn, of course. The second issue I have is effects on property values and the continuation of commercial rezoning, lily padding off of this one. That's the way it usually goes. As a general rule, and I've said this in the email prior, I do not support commercial properties next to residential. It does cause a valuation issue. Number 3 is an environmental issue. I do not know the nature. It's a convenience store, car wash, right? There's a creek nearby. I think it's called Self Creek. I don't know how that's going to affect Turkey Creek. I don't know if it flows into it. I've tried looking on the map, but it zigzags all over the place. And of course, the fourth issue is continuity of business. I am concerned that if this does not work out for this particular individual, we will have an abandoned property or a potential eyesore in the Palmerdale area. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Grant Mitchell, and just so happens I own the property they're talking about.
And that is your address?
Huh?
And that is,
That's a gift shop. at
oh,
Garden
no, our clerk keeps track of actually where you reside, too, so that's the
I
reason.
live at 8368 North Valley Road.
Okay, thank you.
We did reside here up until several years back.
Okay.
But talking about a convenience store and all that, the lot next to it was zoned for a convenience store, what, about 2.5, 3 years ago. So that's already been made commercial. It was already also commercial when I had a garden center there. So we're not really changing the use for that property, and it goes along with the property next door. Of course, I understand the property next door, they didn't do anything with it, so they'd have to come back and have it rezoned again. It's my understanding.
Was it a okay, Chris, so we're going to have our city personnel
Okay, but what I'm
explain
saying-
some of the
but what I'm
current
saying-
zoning around
yeah.
there, because you're correct in that your current zoning there is town center, same as the properties we were just talking about here on Main Street. We're basically talking about moving it up to highway commercial, so.
I understand.
It's a different zoning, but it allows a little more freedom. I believe the car wash is the biggest issue that would require that. Otherwise, they could put the convenience store in there
Yeah,
under
that's
the
what I was
current
getting
zoning,
at.
so.
but I would assume they're recycling the water. I don't know that for a fact, but I don't know how they could put it anywhere else, you know? So the issue about Turkey Creek, I don't think has anything to do with this, because I would think they'd have to recycle it. But, you know, like I say, that's where we stand on it right now.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My property is further down away from the hill than the other one was, so it gives people more of a view. And he's right about the speeding, but they're speeding anyway. Something needs to be done about that probably.
Maybe they'll stop forgetting.
Okay, Chris, we'll still let you speak here during the public hearing part. I'll close it out here in just a moment, just in case another question pops up. You explained to the group basically, because I know y'all have already had a planning and zoning meeting on this. He does bring up some very good points there concerning the traffic issues and stuff. So basically what we do when we do the zoning, we approve that, but we have other rules that continue on with regard to the traffic and that sort of thing, which he would still have to comply with.
That
is
is
right?
correct.
Okay. Just because we change the zoning doesn't mean he can do what he wants, he's
Just because we change the
proposing.
zoning don't mean he can do anything.
Mhm.
The state would still have to come in and give him an access off of that road. It would have to okay it. They may even make him put in a lane to turn. I can't speak for
Which is
they
what the
may
gentleman was talking about, okay?
do. But I can't speak for what they may do.
Right.
But it will have to go through them before. we
Again,
can have
another
that.
engineering study.
Correct. Correct. And what Mr. Mitchell said was correct. We have, a couple of years ago, we rezoned another parcel right there, commercial, from residential for the purpose of a convenience store, but he never acted on it.
Okay.
And when you don't act on that, after 18, 24 months, it reverts back to its original zoning.
Okay, okay.
So, no, there's not two. I understand where he thought there may be, but there's not two. This is the only one currently that we have. The other one went back.
So the other piece is now back zoned as a residential piece?
Correct.
So it would be a residential piece adjoining this
Correct.
current commercial piece?
But just like it has been for the last
15 years or whatever, okay.
Well, we've been doing it since 2011. So it's been zoned that way since 2011, and the county had it C1 prior to that.
Okay.
Everything across 75 is commercial. It fits right on with the master plan. When we did have a hearing, we had several people come. No one spoke out again. We did have people ask about the traffic. Traffic and people speeding was a big thing.
Okay.
A lot of people did talk about that. But the people that even lived right there by it, they were concerned about the noise, and we let them know that, you know, we have building requirements, and if buffers are necessary, then we make them put them up. I can't tell you what it may be. We'd have to go look at where he's gonna put the building and all that first. But, you know, it falls in line with the master plan. And in, let's say 2 years, you're gonna have a big interchange there.
So were individuals there, I know you sent out, you have to send out the registered mail and everything to people that live within 500 feet of the property. They were invited to come to that previous hearing. I guess they were invited to this one tonight also. Does the persons actually adjoining the property, did any of them speak against it?
One did.
Spoke against it?
No, he spoke, he was did he say he was 94? I think he said he was 94 years old. And he came here to tell us that he wasn't mad about it, he knew this was coming. And then we had to hear a lot of stories about from the 40s and 50s, but we heard them.
Okay, great.
You learned something.
I did.
So basically what this is for is just changing back to what just automatically dropped off the books.
No, this is a separate piece of property.
The next piece of property.
Separate piece of property. This is the florist and the nursery across the street from the post office at Palmerdale.
Yeah.
This one hasn't been changed. This one, the property is already zoned town center commercial, which a service gas station can be there. But in order for there to be one of those small drive your car in at car washes, it has to be highway commercial. It should have been highway commercial to start with. It's along a 4-lane highway.
Freestanding car wash.
Yeah.
And as far as the watershed and all, I don't know of any now that are not reclaimed. Like this one here, they don't use water. They catch rainwater. When it goes down, it goes through the same process that it goes through at the water treatment plant, and it cleans the water and puts it back out. Yes, there's going to be some runoff where a car's wet when it pulls out, and it's going to drip off that into the curb on the roadway, but it's a clean car.
Good point.
I mean,
That makes sense.
Good point.
Any questions for Chris? Mr. Black, anything about this one? Okay. All right, so is everybody's clear about what's being asked for and everything? So I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. That was the last one for the night, folks, in case you were wondering. Is there a proposal for an ordinance concerning the changing of the zoning there?
Yes. Yes, I would like to offer the ordinance changing zoning classification at 8074/8080 Highway 75. And what it is the owner and the city has requested that the zoning classification of the real estate be changed to City of Pinson District HC Highway Commercial for a gas and service station, including a freestanding car wash, not allowing any automobile repair services.
Is there a second? Motion and a second. All right, so now, was there, okay, so one thing I just want to clarify is that it's important to know there has been a business functioning at that location for many years. They may not have quite the, although I'm sure the owner would have liked to have had a lot of traffic in there. I'm sure he probably did at times, but probably not as much as what might occur for folks needing to fill up in a car wash, so there could be a potential traffic impact there. However, they will have to abide by the rules that the ALDOT will have concerning that. I do agree that that is a dangerous area. I remember it back when it was the 2-lane. There used to be a little flashing light there and all, and folks coming down the hill. It's very similar to what happens over here over in Bradford, where they still have the flashing light. Folks come down the hill, they misjudge their speed. There's pretty bad wrecks there over time. But again, this is right at the approach of a new many millions of dollar freeway that's being built over there. The construction's going on right now. I can tell you, based on what I've seen over at the freeway entrance ramps on Chalkville Mountain Road, that ALDOT is very serious about businesses that are very close to the entrance ramps to their freeways. So they're not going to let these guys do something that's going to impact the freeway access or anything like that, because they've just gotten very fussy about that sort of thing. So that's all I had to say. Anybody else, any things on that?
No.
Nothing, Mr. Mayor? Okay. Do we, again, this is just a rezoning change, but it is permanent. Mr. Black, does this require unanimous consent? It does. Madam Clerk, can we have unanimous consent to consider?
Counselor Irvin?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Churchwell?
Yes.
Counselor Kirkland?
Yes.
Mayor Cochran?
Yes.
And I would like to say, the Planning and Zoning Board, we approved it unanimously, approved it,
Okay.
so.
Ms. Kirkland's on that board, so she got to hear y'all will have to get with her later to hear about the 1950s stories.
Me too.
You got to hear them also. Okay, so get with those folks. Madam Clerk, can we have a vote on the ordinance?
Counselor Irvin?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Churchwell?
Yes.
Counselor Kirkland?
Yes.
Mayor Cochran?
Yes.
All right, so that ordinance change passes unanimously as, getting your number there for you, 2024 dash, Madam Clerk, what will that one be, do we know? It's blank here on the form, so I wasn't sure what we got in you have the ordinance book.
05.
Is it-
05.
Yeah.
So again, passes unanimously as ordinance number 2024-05. All right, now we're going to move on to some new business. I believe, Mr. Walker, concerning the PHCC exterior maintenance.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to authorize the mayor and staff to seek out bids or inspections or whatever is required to repair the necessary items at PHCC.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? We talked about this a little bit in the pre-council. Any discussion about this? Basically, this would allow them to be able to get a game plan together. They would, of course, need to bring that back for approval for funding and all that sort of jazz, but we're good.
I mean, it's only going to get worse if we don't do something.
Yeah, this will enable them to be able to get it going. All in favor of this, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And so we'll go ahead and enable you guys to go ahead and get started on that. Next, Mayor Cochran wants to make a motion, and I will give a brief summary here there for you. Basically, for the City of Pinson to provide EMS and deputies for the Pride of the Valley band competition.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Well, they're getting it together over there.
Ball
So.
down here. Done.
So, again, we've done this in the past. This is a very large event in the City of Pinson. It lasts all day. There are thousands of people that attend. This is a smart move on our part. The folks will still call for EMS and police, but it's better when we have them there. Slows things down as far as for trouble goes. So, all in favor of that, can I hear an aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So we will move forward on the Pride of the Valley event. Next, Mr. Walker, we had a little clarification that we wanted to do regarding some funding that we gave our schools recently.
Yes, we released the allocation of some designated funds to our schools just a few months ago, earlier this year. Had the principals here and had a nice presentation for them. However, some of the wording that we used has been taken quite literally by the schools, and we would like to make a motion to designate those funds, how do I word this? To allow the principal's discretion to use those funds for the schools.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. So, again, the principals, there had been some discussion there about whether or not the funds could be used for activities that apply to all the students versus a subset of the students. And many times when an activity takes place that impacts all the students, funding has been available from the county, the state, other federal programs and things. It's some of those more particulars where these funds that we provide can actually come in handy. There's nothing that precludes the principals, this motion would not preclude them from doing something that would impact the entire school. However, it would allow them to do something for a particular program, such as like if the science club needed to have something, or the football team needed new footballs or something like that. So basically, that's the reason why we want to clear that up. So, anyone else have any comments? Okey-doke. All in favor of the motion to change the language there on that, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So we'll go ahead and get that done, and Madam Clerk, if you will get that to the bookkeepers at the schools, it'll be very helpful for them. Next, John, I believe you got a motion about a television.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we purchase a large TV for the Rock School Center in the amount of $3,500.
That would be not to exceed?
Not to exceed.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second there on this. We basically have an event room over there that has been used many times already by public service, public safety officials. Library folks have been over. We've had several different events. They don't have a the library has been bringing down their smaller, I want to say it's 50-inch range, maybe television set. This would actually be a 100,
Please, I'm typing.
I think it's a
I
one.
have a 65-inch in my bedroom.
Okay, so the mayor has a 65 inches bedroom, so the request, I believe, is for a 100-inch in this. Okay, this is a much larger room than a typical bedroom, so we definitely need to get something bigger than what the library's had there on that, so. Any discussion about the television?
We do have large groups that come in there from across the state, county, so forth, and have their events there, and we need to have something nice there for them to present their programs.
It's quite humorous when the public safety folks get over there and that thing is completely full of squad cars and everything else. People are like, what is going on? Especially folks coming to the library. But yes, we've had several of those. And this will be a smart TV and color, I believe. We're going to go splurge out here and get a color television.
We're moving into the 21st century, y'all.
So, all in favor of purchasing this television, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And I believe that concludes our new business portion of this evening. We did outlast our special guests. They hung in here as long as they could. I warned them on that. We will now open the floor up to any public comment. Should anyone, Eric? Is this public comment or is this in the, okay.
I'll make it short and sweet.
Okay.
I need to know what you want to serve for dinner at the Veterans Day. We cannot do baked chicken because the place is closed on Monday, and that's what day it is. So we'll have to look for a different option. And I need the gifts. I need you to decide what we want to present. I need that so we can make preparations.
We thought this meeting was getting on the backstretch. This could take another 30 minutes.
No. This is all.
You have options on those menu items so that we can narrow it down?
I thought we would just go with what Councilor Irvin suggested. We go with Olive Garden. Well, because the venue, the restaurant that I picked, and it's a great, don't get me wrong, I would rather go the baked chicken route, but they're not open on Monday, and they don't do catering. So if they're not open, I can't get the food there.
So they might be open on the following year because Veterans Day will
Correct.
jump.
They could. That's exactly right. And we use them for one of our employee training functions that we use, so that we'll use them for them. But again, just as long as you're aware, and we need to set a little budget. We need to set a budget for all that, if you will, that we can work under. Just like we did with the television. If you give me a number to work under, I'll do better. That's it.
I think Olive Garden sounds good. Simple.
We did it before. It's
Yeah,
delicious.
before.
Okay, so you need that and then the.
I think
the
we
gifting
discussed
scenario.
a hat and maybe something else.
I think you had showed me a floppy like a fish. They go fishing with.
A bucket hat.
Is that what those are
and
called?
then a mini travel mug. But we're gonna get together. I got you this week.
Okay.
We'll get over it.
Okay.
Do we have a budget for this food and these items?
That's what I'm asking you for. Let's just set a number at,
What did we do last year?
Did we approve a number last year?
I hope so.
Now, is this budget
Mr. Black is here
Is this
tonight.
budget going to include the 3 on a string?
yes, we use
Theirs is like, what was it, 2,000 or something like that? 1,800.
But we already proved that, correct? The 3 on the string, so that's not part of this
I don't
motion.
think it was that much.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I don't have that running from me. I'll
But that's not part of this motion.
Yeah,
that we've already
no.
done.
Actually, I need you to give me an idea what you want to spend on the food and the gifts. So
Well, I don't
think
want
if
these
we-
guys to show up if it's with the
I think-
portion size that's only this big,
I
if
think
we don't have enough.
if you
so.
set a budget at 5,000, that we can operate under that. And if we have to come back for more, I'll come back for more, but I don't think we will.
I don't think so.
Okay,
I
don't
think that'd
we
be
will
good.
either. I think that's ample amount of
Yeah.
money. And
Glenda, is that your motion?
Sure.
Hold on, Robbie.
So moved.
There you
You paused and the mayor jumped in. So
again, if we
is
need
there a
more,
second?
I'll come back. I think we're okay though.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. So all in favor of going with the Olive Garden and the gifting scenarios with a budget not to exceed 5,000, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So that is passed.
The last thing I want to tell you is we have completed our lighting project at the sport complex. All fields have been, yes, ma'am.
I had a question for the council concerning the gifts. Is anyone opposed to, what we did previously was we said, I think Pinson loves our veterans. Is anyone opposed if we just put City of Pinson, and I think we always do a People of Progress, put our logo on there?
That works
mean
because
our
when we have
motto,
extras,
not
we
logo,
use
motto,
them
you
for
get
other
this.
things.
Exactly.
Does that
Yeah,
work?
absolutely, absolutely.
So,
I'm good with that.
That's fine.
okay. Take it away.
All right, we have completed our lighting project at the sport complex. All fields have been retrofitted with LED lighting. We've also, within the budget that you gave me, I was able to install remote activation and deactivation of the lighting. All that's been installed. You may have saw one of the bills float through there for an electrician. I had to have an electrician install the contactors that make this actuator. It's about $3,000, I think, last week or last meeting. But it still fit in with the amount of money that you had appropriated for me with like $36,000, and I came in under budget and got all that done. The gate project has been completed. We have all access control on all the buildings, the restrooms, and the gate has remote access as well. It's a luxury, I get it. It's a luxury that our slim and dwindling staff truly appreciate. And when I say dwindling quickly, so I would hope that you would approve a budget soon, okay? And you can amend the budget every week, every month, every 90 days, but we have to have some sort of guide, and we cannot install quarter budgets in the system. It has to be a year budget. Once you install a budget, then you can amend it. There's a process to go through. The reports will not produce. All you'll get is a spending, just tells you what money went where, but we need that budget installed to appropriate the correct information that you want, okay? So I hope you would do that soon.
Okay, so Eric, if the, but now you could plug in a number, and if it was 25%, the thing would work.
But it'd be for a year. And so
Yeah,
no, it
and
wouldn't
then you
work.
would need to bump it up.
Then we would have to do a budget appropriation every time. Every month would have to have one. Because if it was 25% and say we had an expenditure like the gate project, and I only had a budget for special projects at the sport complex for $15,000.
Correct.
That would all have to be, we'd have to go through the budget appropriation process every time we wanted to change something, every time. If we just
Does the
put-
thing not allow you to write a check if something exceeds the budget, or what?
It has to be approved, and it has to have an appropriation made so that they won't,
Please, I'm typing. The money doesn't come in that way.
The money
He said the money doesn't
that
come in
way.
that way.
It means quarterly, I think.
doesn't come in quarterly, no.
That's
yeah.
correct. That is correct.
The point I was making is that we take the budget that we approved, the budget that we presented was substantially less than what we did the year prior and the year prior, substantially less. We implement the budget, we install it, and then as we go through the year, or as you go through the months, we come back and report to you every meeting. It can be done every meeting. You can see that, and you'll know they can't go spend, the department heads cannot go spend their yearly budget this month. They can't do that. They can't spend it next month. You know, they've got to make a year out of it. So the point I'm making is that I hope that you progress more quickly in your approving of that budget so that we can put it in process and we can put it in place. If you want to amend those portions of the budget before we implement it, by all means. I mean,
As long as you have 4 votes.
You have to remember that, Eric, is that this is a consensus body, and so as a result, once something happens, then it would then take another consensus to be able to make that change. So in a practical terms, we may not all agree on particular spending areas, so there's some that matter of
Well,
fact, that I've already.
The reporting is very
talking about.
difficult without it in there. I'll just tell you that. It's very difficult. You're not using we spend a lot of money on software to track our spending, to be able to produce reports that are very, very in-depth. And we're not able to do this if we don't have a budget installed. And when the auditors and accountants tell you the same thing that Eric just did, remember that Eric told you this.
Well, we didn't have a budget last year, and it's going to be interesting to see if we're able to get a audit report out without that information. Have you gotten any indication they won't be able to do an audit because we didn't have it in there for last year's budget?
No, I didn't say an audit.
No.
I didn't say an audit.
Well, you said the auditor said to do
When
it.
they tell you the same thing I just told you, I said, when they tell you what Eric just said, that we need that budget installed to get the correct reporting, for you to see it. They don't need it. They can pull that information out of the software. That's what they're skilled at. So, and that's what they did with the last one. So we just don't have a budget to actual comparison. We can't do it. Right. That's just, information that I wanted to provide to you. But,
Okay, I have another question for you, but before we move on, Mr. Black, I want to make sure we're clear on this. Does state law require the city to pass a budget?
No, state law does not require.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure we're clear on that particular
Well,
aspect. This is an in-house issue that
It
would
is.
be helpful to the staff, which we have
Yes.
addressed, that it would be helpful to the
That's
staff,
correct.
give direction. That is the purpose for the budget in the first place.
That's correct.
There on that.
It would be helpful for you.
And it would help us.
Yes.
Because we're asking for information that they cannot provide without this information entered into the system.
It would be a much more accurate and a much more detailed report if we had that budget installed in that software. It would. But we do not have to. I know that.
Okay.
You're exactly right.
All right. And then my next question is, this actually for, because I think you're working on this for you and the mayor, is how is the filling of the position of Parks and Rec Director, how's that coming along? And I say that because I'm beginning to get phone calls with regard to the Park and Recs Department. This yesterday afternoon and then today I received several calls. Fortunately, we were able to head off a potential large crowd. I didn't really want more people here tonight than what we already had. We wouldn't have enough room from some folks that are concerned about that. So I didn't know how that search was going.
So we've had several applications from all walks of life, from attorneys to you name it. We've had them from all different places. And
So we have people in the legal profession that want to go into Park and Rec?
I think that people just apply to apply.
Yeah.
We.
It wasn't you, was it?
No.
Those are confidential applications.
So the approach that we have taken for the moment, because we have to conduct interviews, and really, as far as how we're supposed to handle that, I'm not quite sure, but what I've done is I've taken those two gentlemen that we have left, and we've kind of split the duties in that department. I help oversee them, help them through their decision process, because when the position became vacated, I believe that one of them may have taken the liberties a little bit too far. Okay, maybe he assumed that it would be his position, next, and so some decisions that were not very wise decisions were made. So we backtracked, we settled those issues, and that's probably what you're referring to, because there were people that were upset because we didn't offer fall ball. Well, with the flux in the employment part, I didn't have a director. I can't do all of that. These young men did not have all the answers. We chose not to offer fall ball this season. Okay, there was one team that wanted us to sponsor them. Well, we don't sponsor travel ball teams. Okay, so when we stopped that, it kind of upset the apple cart. They weren't happy. And if that's what you're referring to. But what we're doing right now, we're just splitting the duties, and we're just for the moment.
that is part of it. So first off, there are a set of criteria that people must meet as far as qualifications for this job.
That's correct. That's correct.
It would be very interesting to find attorneys that have degrees that work in park and recreation management, but okay, I guess anything's possible. So if you get applicants that do not fill the, you just circular filing those, I'm assuming, because if you're not qualified, you're not qualified for the job. I don't know if we had anybody in-house that was qualified or not, so if they were, then they would be perfectly capable of putting in their application. But if they're not qualified, then
Yeah, and
they'll be dismissed. I mean, that'll be thrown out.
I'm not a Park and Recs director, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night.
Yeah, it was kind of starting to look like that. Okay, so the parents were, the fall ball aspect was one thing. Apparently that is something that we have offered in the past, and so,
Not from what I've uncovered.
oh, really?
Not fall ball.
Okay, so
But they
my
offer-
understanding is that last year we did have a fall ball team.
T-ball.
T-ball, that's correct, because
T-ball,
that's.
only
that-
T-ball.
okay.
Fall ball is different. Fall ball is travel. Fall ball is us organize games, us connect with other cities or leagues. We didn't have any of that. When we do have teams that play, they all fall under an insurance umbrella through that league, and none of that was in place. This group took it upon themselves to start practicing, fielding a team that we hadn't even offered fall ball, had not offered any registration, had not done anything. And when they came to me and said, hey, we're not gonna be able to do this, we don't have all the pieces in place, I said, well, okay, we won't do it. You know, I mean, it's not baseball, it's fall ball. It's extra.
Talk about it offline.
Well, like I say, I believe that hopefully we can get this a little more clarification on this by the next meeting. Several members of the public will probably be planning on attending the next meeting to address their concerns. They see the park as, this as being a reduction. Basically, things went well last year with the T-ball. There was more enthusiasm. I think some of the T-ball kids got a little older, and so they were hoping they could continue and do the same thing this year. Apparently, there was more interest even outside because we must have done a good job last year with this thing. So, and I know this isn't your expertise,
Well, they had
Eric.
spring ball, so it's not like it's been gone that long. They did do spring ball, but continue on.
Yeah, yeah, we have multiple seasons out there on the thing, but these ball kids, they just play all the time now. It's crazy. And I know that's not your plate is completely full. And I explained that to the individuals. I said, listen, I said, this man is doing a lot of work around here. I don't know if you're like me, I wouldn't know anything at all about the sports stuff. So I know about the game, but I don't know anything at all about how to put all this stuff together. But we do have several parents. I'm sorry.
He does.
Okay. Parents and volunteer coaches and things up there that have been participating for many years. And so we want to keep them plugged into the equation. And again, like I say, these are folks from Pinson that are doing this. So that was my only question about that.
The other issues were all power related. Yeah, power related. So I'd be glad to discuss that with you.
No, I wasn't going to get into the cheerleading stuff. We can talk about that later.
I'd be glad to explain all of it.
Okay.
You know, and the decision that was made.
That's
So,
cool.
and stand behind it too.
I didn't, yeah, like I said, we hadn't had a chance to talk about that, and I just found out about that today, so.
It's been going on for
Hey,
about 2
people
weeks.
see we're having these meetings, they start calling me up. I don't know why that happens. Is there anything else or anyone else from the public that would like to speak? Another distinguished guest that we have here tonight. I hate to ask you for your name and address because we should all know it, but it's a long drive from your house to the city hall.
It is exactly a half block. Stanley Moss, 4339 Mountain Street. I want to thank the city of Pinson, Eric, Public Works, for helping us with the Pinson Rock School reunion. It was a big success this year. And all I can tell you is when the people walked into the event center, wow, wow, wow. So impressed. They really were. I mean, it was really good. In fact, when I walked in, I thought, oh, this looks better than the East Room of the Birmingham Country Club, where I go to Birmingham, where I go to family reunions or whatever the case. And I was telling Allison, the only complaint we had was about the library. Somebody complained about having to pay 15 cents for a copy, whatever the case. But after I found out who it was, I thought, consider the source. So, but anyway, I'll keep all that. But thank you, and everything. And like I said, it was really marvelous and everything. We always appreciate the help that y'all give us. So.
Well, thank you, Stanley, for y'all, you and your team putting that all together. I got to come over and really had a lot of fun. John and I cruised through and got to meet some of the folks and everything, and I got to give a tour to some of the, one of the guys that had been in school there that I'd known for a long time. It was fun to reconnect with the people and that I went to school with over in that building, so.
And I will say, probably half the group is from out of town, and some of them come all the way from other states and everything, so it really means a lot to them whenever they come.
Some I talked to used to be regulars at these council meetings, used to come, but they've moved off, and they came back they won't come back for one of our council meetings, but they do come back for Rock School Reunion.
They do,
So it was fun.
they do. It's good to see a lot of these people. Thank you,
Thank you. Have great displays over there and showing the different folks participating and all. It's just really a big blast. I will entertain, before anybody else jumps up, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
She was slightly ahead. I was watching on that right there. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Oh, and everyone, don't forget
Oh, I'm
trade
sorry,
days.
yes.
Don't forget trade days this Saturday.
What
So,
time does that start?
9 o'clock,
And ends at
or 10 o'clock really, 10 o'clock to 2.
10 to 2. And I was thinking that a while ago when they were talking. I apologize. We did tell her we'd let that slide in. So all in favor of adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That was a hand.